Hello dear children, welcome back. I am Dr. Jisha Jo. In this video, we shall study about the different types of plastids with special reference to the structure and function of the chloroplast. First, let us see what are plastids. Plastids are cell organelles found only in plant cells and euglenoids. They are exclusively present in plant cells and euglenoids. They are absent in animal cells. And these bear pigments. The plastids bear or they contain pigments. The term plastid was coined by a person named Schimper in 1885. So, once again, plastids are present exclusively in plant cells and euglenoids. They are absent in animal cells. They bear pigments or they contain pigments, and the term plastid was coined by Schimper in 1885. Now, based on the type of pigments present, plastids are of three types: chromoplast, leucoplast, and chloroplast. So, as we have seen, based on the type of pigment present, plastids are of three types: chromoplast, leucoplast, and chloroplast. Chromoplasts are colored plastids. Colored plastids, and they contain the pigment carotenes and xanthophylls. They are fat soluble carotenoids, and the carotenoid pigments present are carotenes and xanthophylls, and these pigments impart the red, yellow or orange color to the fruits or flowers or plant parts. So that is with regard to the chromoplast. Once again, chromoplasts are colored plastids, and they contain the fat soluble carotenoid pigments like carotenes and xanthophylls, and these pigments impart the red, yellow or orange color to the flowers and fruits. Now, moving on to the next type of plastid, that is the leucoplast. They are colorless plastids. They do not have any pigment in them. The function of the leucoplast is to store nutrients. Since they don't have any pigments, they are called as they are the colorless plastids, and the function of the leucoplast is to store the nutrients. And the third type of plastid is the chloroplast. These are the green colored plastids, and the green color is due to the presence of the pigment chlorophyll in them. In addition to the chlorophyll pigment, carotenoid pigments are also present in the chloroplast. So main pigment is the chlorophyll pigment, which imparts the green color to the chloroplast, or green color to the leaves of plants, is due to the presence of the pigment chlorophyll. And the function of the chlorophyll as well as the carotenoid pigments is to trap the solar energy or light energy for the process of photosynthesis. So once again, plastids, based on the type of the pigment present, plastids are divided into three: chromoplast, leucoplast, and chloroplast. Chromoplast are colored plastids, and they contain the fat soluble carotenoid pigments like carotenes and xanthophylls, which impart the red, yellow or orange color to the fruits or flowers. Then going to the chloroplast, they are green colored plastids. They contain the pigment chlorophyll, and also carotenoid pigments are present in it. Especially the main pigment present is the chlorophyll pigment, and the function of the pigment is to absorb light energy for the process of photosynthesis, to trap light energy for photosynthesis. And the third type of plastid is the leucoplast, which are colorless plastids. They are colorless because they don't have any pigment in them, and the function of the leucoplast is to store the nutrients. And based on the type of the nutrients or the food stored in the leucoplast, they are again classified into three. They are the amyloplast, eleoplast, and eluroplast. So as we have seen, based on the type of nutrients stored, leucoplasts are classified again into three. They are the amyloplast, eleoplast, and eluroplast. Amyloplast store Starch. Starch. Eleoplast store oils of fats. Oils of fats are stored in eleoplast, and eleuroplast store proteins. So, based on the type of nutrients stored, we have already seen leucoplast store. The function of the leucoplast is to store nutrients, and based on the type of nutrients stored, eleoplast are classified into three: a myeloplast, which stores starch, eleoplast, which store oils or fats, and eleuroplast, which store proteins. Now we shall move on to the structure of the chloroplast. Chloroplasts, we know they are the green colored plastids, and we have seen they are present in the green plants, and they are found especially in the mesophyll cells of the leaves. In green plants, they are mostly present in the mesophyll cells of the leaves. And the shape of the chloroplast may be oval or spherical in shape. And in green algae, you can see a wide variety of shapes. Like, for example, in the case of Chlamydomonas, you can see cup-shaped chloroplast. In the case of Spirogyra, you can see ribbon-shaped chloroplast. In the case of Zygnema, you can see star-shaped chloroplast. So the shape of the chloroplast varies. Okay, but in higher plants, in green plants, the shape of the chloroplast is maybe oval or spherical in shape, and the number also varies. As in the case of Chlamydomonas, you can see only a single chloroplast in a cell. In a cell of, we know Chlamydomonas is a unicellular green algae, and there is only a single chloroplast in a cell of the Chlamydomonas. Whereas when we come to the leaves of plants, you can see the number increases, maybe 20 to 24 chloroplast may be present in a single cell of the leaves, a single mesophyll cell of the leaves of higher plants. Now moving on to the structure of the chloroplast. Chloroplast, as we know, the shape is oval or spherical in shape, and it is a double membraned structure. It has two membranes, that is the outer membrane and the inner membrane. So it is a double membraned structure, as you see. Okay, the outer membrane, that is the outer membrane, and that is the inner membrane. Regarding the permeability of the two membranes, the inner membrane is relatively less permeable than the outer membrane, and there is a space that is enclosed by the inner membrane, and this space is filled with a fluid which is called as the stroma. The matrix is called as the stroma. And if you look at the two membranes, you can see the two membranes are separated by a space. That space is called as the periplastidial space. Periplastidial space. So there are two membranes, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. If you look at the permeability, the inner membrane is less permeable than the outer membrane. The two membranes are separated by a space, and this space is called as the periplastidial space. Inside, or the inner membrane encloses a space which is filled with a fluid matrix which is called as the stroma. And inside the stroma, you can see sac-like structures. Sac-like structures. Each sac-like structure is called as a thylakoid. Each sac. So these are sac-like structures. Each sac is called as a thylakoid. And as you can see, the thylakoids are piled up one above the other to form a group. This entire pack or pile of the thylakoid is called as the granum. Granum is singular, grana is plural. Now the thylakoid of one granum, so this is another thylakoid, and the pile of thylakoids form the granum. That is another granum there. I'll draw another one here. That is another granum. So the thylakoid of one granum may be connected with the thylakoid of another granum by means of, you can see channels there. These are called as the Fret channels, or they are also called as the stroma lamellae. Stroma lamellae. Or they are also called as intergranal thylakoids. Intergranal thylakoid. Okay, so as I have mentioned earlier, the inside the stroma there are sac-like structures. Each sac-like structure is called as a thylakoid. This is another granum. Okay, and each sac-like structure is called as a thylakoid, and as you can see here, the thylakoids are piled one above the other, and each pile is called as a granum. Singular is granum, plural grana. The thylakoid of one granum may be connected with the thylakoid of another granum by means of Fret channels, or they are also called as stroma lamellae. The two membranes, they are the stroma lamellae, and the two membranes enclose a space there. That is why they are also called as the Fret channels. They are also called as intergranal thylakoid because they are seen between the two grana. The thylakoid present in the grana can also be called as the granal thylakoid or grana lamellae. Each membrane of the thylakoid, as you can see, it is the grana lamellae. This is the stroma lamellae. Okay, now once again, the chloroplast, if you look at the structure of the chloroplast has an oval or spherical shape. It has a double membraned outer wall. The outer wall, it has two membranes there, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. The two membranes are separated by a space which is called as the periplastidial space. Then the inner membrane encloses a space which is filled with a fluid matrix, and this matrix is called as the stroma. And stroma is the site of dark reaction of photosynthesis. So the dark reaction phase of photosynthesis takes place in the stroma, or the light independent phase of photosynthesis takes place inside the stroma. Then in the stroma you can see sac-like structures. These sac-like structures are called as the thylakoids. The thylakoids are piled up one above the other to form the granum. The thylakoid of one granum may be connected with the thylakoid of another granum by means of Fret channels, and they may be also called as stroma lamellae or the intergranal thylakoid. The thylakoid, the membrane of the thylakoid is the site of light reaction. The light dependent phase of photosynthesis takes place on the thylakoid membrane, the wall of the thylakoid. And it is actually because it is on the walls of the thylakoids the chlorophyll pigments are present. Okay, the green color of the chloroplast, as we have already seen, it is due to the presence of chlorophyll pigment, and these pigments are present on the walls of the thylakoids. And we have already seen what is the function of chlorophyll. It is to trap the light energy. So the light dependent phase of photosynthesis take place in the thylakoid, or exactly if we say on the thylakoid membrane. As we have already seen, stroma is the site of dark reaction. So that means they contain the stroma contain enzymes for the reactions of the light independent phase. Along with the enzymes for the dark reaction, they also contain the DNA and ribosomes. And the ribosomes present in the chloroplast are 70S ribosomes, and due to the presence of DNA, like the mitochondria, chloroplast also undergo division because of the presence of DNA. So what is the function of the chloroplast? The function of the chloroplast is to trap the light energy and use this light energy for the synthesis of food by the process of photosynthesis. So children, in this video we have studied about the different types of plastids, the structure and the function of the chloroplast. So I hope whatever we have studied in this session is clear to you. If you have any doubts or suggestions, please ask your doubts and give your suggestions in the comment section. Thank you.